Hello, let me begin by introducing myself. My name is Megan. I am from Ava, New York. I work as a table games dealer at a local casino. Many different areas of my life have been affected by the pandemic, including work, school, communication, social life, and I've been affected financially. Back in March of 2020, the casino decided to shut down. We were closed for about 3 months, and during that time, we were able to collect unemployment benefits. However, I was unable to get through to the unemployment office to start making my claims. So I went about 2 months without any pay. And finally, I was able to get through and get all that settled and everything else. Well, we reopened on June 10th, and many different policies and procedures and rules were put into play. And I'll talk about that here in about a minute. Um, Now, when we go into work, there is a screening process. They do ask us many questions and take our temperatures and everything else before we can even enter onto the property. Um, and if you fail that screening process, then they send you away and you have to go and get tested. Or I'm not entirely sure because I haven't been turned away because I've been lucky enough to not have any symptoms. However, if you come into contact with somebody who has tested positive, they will quarantine you for I think it's about 7 to 10 days, um, just to, as a precaution. Um, Back in November, just before Thanksgiving, actually, I had worked with somebody who had tested positive, so they took me out of work for about 7 days, maybe 7 to 10 days. I'm not entirely sure. And so I went and I got tested just to be sure, and my test came back negative. My roommate, she also works at the casino. She had also went and gotten tested, and the day before I was supposed to return to work, hers came back positive. And so obviously we notified Human Resources, and I was sent into quarantine for another 14 days. So I was out of work for almost an entire month. And unemployment, there wasn't the extra money on top this time for me, so I was losing quite a bit of money. And I'm still trying to recover from that lost time. Now, as far as the policies and procedures and everything else, employees and guests are required to wear masks, supposed to cover your nose and your mouth. If you are drinking any kind of beverage, whether it be hot or cold or alcoholic beverage, out onto the gaming floor, you are required to use a straw and put it up under your mask. Um, you are required to sanitize every time you walk up to a table to play, even if you came over from the next table over. We are required to wear masks and gloves, and that makes it very difficult for us at times because it does get kind of hot, and we are covered basically from the nose down. Um, and it also makes for communication very difficult. I deal craps, and craps is a very verbal game. And I have to be able to understand the players in order to book their bets and place their bets and pay them and press and all that. So that's where the communication really comes into play. It's affected that area, and also many other areas as far as communication is concerned. Um, Now, many of our guests and players do get upset with us when we ask them to cover their noses or to drink their hot coffee through a straw and under the mask. And also with the hand sanitizer, which I get, it's drying out your hands, but they're getting upset with us even though we just have to follow those rules. Otherwise, we can get in trouble for not doing so. Um, Now, as far as social life, it makes it very difficult to go out with friends. I mean, I can meet up with my friends at the bar or whatever, but only until 10, I think now 11 o'clock. But even so, that's still not really that great. And also, many of my friends have just recently had babies within the last year or two, and so I try to keep my distance because I come into contact with so many people. But I do play it safe when I do go and visit them. Uh, I just recently lost an uncle, and I have family out of state who were unable to attend his funeral because of all of the quarantines and the pandemic, and so that wasn't really so great either. Um, School, we had to do that transition mid semester last year in the spring semester, and I was taking Chem 112 and also Psych 207. Now, with Chem going to online, we were unable to um, perform the rest of our labs. There was one that we were able to perform, but I had to go out and I had to buy a red cabbage and I had to boil it and do all these weird things, and I mean it was pretty cool, but I missed out on labs. We did do virtual, but it's just it wasn't the same. And then as far as psych, I love my psych classes. Those are hands down my favorite classes, and I love the discussion and talking about everything. But then we went online, and it really brought it down for me. But I still enjoyed the class, and it made it very difficult because we did have a group project that was due and a paper that was due at the end of the semester, and with keeping social distancing, we were unable to meet face to face and to write the paper to go with it. It made it very difficult, but we made it work. Also, what else? Right now, well, last semester I was taking A&P 1, and this semester I'm taking A&P 2, and I specifically signed up for Utica campus to work with cadavers because I'm a very hands-on learner. And so I am not really too thrilled about not having lab. And A&P is very difficult, as I'm sure somebody here is taking it or has taken it. It's a very, very challenging class. And not being able to ask your teachers or professors face to face any questions that pop up or anything. I mean, you can email them, but then you gotta wait, and it's very challenging as far as communication and trying to ask certain questions if you're asking about a certain area of the body or anything like that. It's very challenging, and I am ready for this all to be over. And I think that's about it. Have a nice day.